Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV and we're here with the iPad Air. This is the new and improved version. Of course, they're always doing something to try to get you to buy another one, and we're going to take a closer look to see if it's worth doing. Really what this is an aesthetic change. It is thinner, it is lighter, and it feels a lot nicer in the hand, but there's really no new compelling feature that I'm going to say is worth an upgrade if you're happy with the one you have. But let's take a closer look at the hardware though. It is thin, as you can see, and it is a lot narrower because what they've done is they've shrunk the bezels down. So they, as you recall on the iPad, prior versions of the iPad, you had a lot more of the side bezel here that they made thinner. It kind of looks like the iPad mini and the iPhone 5 now. So they kind of followed that design language. And when you put this one up against the prior version, you can see just how much thinner it is. It's also a lot lighter, and it's also a lot more balanced in your hand, because on these prior versions, the battery was kind of on one side of it, and one side of the device was a lot heavier than the other. So I like how they've balanced the weight out for sure. It feels a lot nicer. The screen is exactly the same size though, which is nice. So I've always liked the larger screen. The iPad mini appeals to a lot of people, but it really doesn't appeal to me because I like having a larger screen to look at on my tablet device. So that was kind of nice to see that they were able to really make it feel a heck of a lot nicer without having to sacrifice the screen size, which is good. Now the only thing that you run into when you make something smaller and lighter is that it feels like the glass is a lot thinner, and I don't know if that's going to be a problem when you drop something on it perhaps, or if something gets placed on there. It feels very spongy in the middle, which is really un-Apple-like. I'm surprised about that, and I've been reading some folks online who've also been noticing this, and it's apparently just how it's built now. So when you do make something lighter, there's going to be a sacrifice there. These screens always felt more solid than this one does, especially in the middle, and it feels different based on where you're tapping on the screen. So on the edges it feels a little bit nicer than it does in the center. So that's something to keep in mind. It's beyond that, there's really not much else to show you. There's they changed the volume up and down buttons from a rocker to just two distinct buttons. You have the switch here, of course, that you had on the prior versions. You can make that your screen lock or your mute button. They did improve the camera a little bit. It's still not like an iPhone 5S camera, but I think it's like an iPhone 5 quality camera, so it's not bad. It does the 1080p video, and that's great, but it's really, it's not really a picture-taking device, although I know a lot of people use it for that. There's a dual microphone on it now as well to try to make your voice calls go a little bit better, and now, of course, it's using the Thunderbolt adapter on the bottom. Now, they also improved, or I don't know if they made it necessarily an improvement, but they've updated the smart cover. They haven't changed the price, but they made it smaller to account for the new screen. And they also took away a lot of the manufacturing complexity from it, because now it doesn't have that really nice metal hinge to it anymore. It's just basically a continuation of the cover here, like a polyurethane or whatever the material is, to kind of extend the lip here for the hinge. And it connects via magnets as it did before. So as you can see here, it just snaps in there and attaches just kind of like the way the other one did. And of course it folds over. It'll put the unit to sleep if you've configured it to do that. And you can also use it as a stand, so you can prop it up this way to type on it, or as you could before, make it work like that as well. So that is pretty much the changes there. So the big question is, should you upgrade to the new one? And that's always the question I get from folks. And there's no compelling feature that's in here that's going to really make that justified if you're happy with the one that you already have. In fact, these new processors that have come out for the iPhone and the iPad are really just brand new. In fact, developers haven't had a lot of time to really cater their apps to all the new things that you can do with a faster processor. So I think it's going to be a while before we see any real changes there. So I would say the only compelling reason to upgrade is if you want something lighter and you don't like how big and heavy the current versions of the older versions of the iPads are, then that's a good reason to upgrade. But beyond that, I might wait a little bit and see where it goes. Now the iPad mini comes out next week. It has the much improved screen. In fact, the screen resolution is the same as it is on this big one now. So that is a really neat feature. So if you're looking for something smaller and something lighter, then the mini might be worth considering. But I would upgrade if you're looking for something new, but there's really no compelling reason to do it just yet. This is Lon.TV, and thanks for watching.